Hey, heads up, sit and goes. Back for question number 4 here, and it comes from DHCG86. Question is, what is the biggest area for improvement that you see in players? Can you specifically name areas that poker players overlook? I don't know that there are areas that poker players overlook. I just think there are areas that poker players tend to not see as important. I think the biggest area for improvement is actually the process for improving. How you learn to improve, how you learn to get better. I mean, that there's a skill to that. And the poker players who show up every single day ready to be better that day than they were the day before are the ones that have the consistent long-term success. And I think that's true in any industry, in any form of competition, not just poker, certainly not just in heads-up sit and goes, as a form of poker. Being able to understand the learning process and understand what you need to be doing to make your work efficient so that you are prepared to play at a really high level. Playing at a very high level, meaning like playing at your best, is not just good because it's your opportunity to make the most money, but it's also good because you're actually training your skill set at a very, very high level. Playing actually helps you to learn. So when you show up unprepared to correct common weaknesses in your game, you're actually getting better at making those mistakes when you make them again. So there's such a premium on really having a good organization to your weaknesses so that every single time you show up to play, at an absolute bare minimum, you are making sure that your worst does not show up under any circumstances, tilt included. Okay, so if you are, like really pressured because of tilt or other issues, you've got to really focus your mind very hard on being able to make those corrections. And if you can't, then don't play. Take a break and come back and try it again the next day, because you don't want to be reinforcing bad habits. Certainly not the worst ones. Now, B, A- mistakes, like, there's only so much you can be improving on a day, but you can guarantee that you're ready, that you are prepared and ready to eliminate your C game mistakes, and that's what you need to do. So if you don't have a process for being able to do that, then you've got to work at it. I talk about it in the book, this process model where you prepare, you perform, you evaluate, and then you analyze. And the analysis is the equivalent of practice. A basketball team or a football team practicing their game away from the action, in a sense. The preparation and the evaluation are much more contained around your performance, getting you ready to play, and then evaluating how you did, and the evaluation being the equivalent of correcting the test. Poker being a test. When you show up, what'd you score? Well, I got an A. Well, then there's not going to be much for you to be correcting. There may be things that you can sort of pull out of that session that will actually take your game a step farther, so you can identify the things that you did really, really well. Got a B or a C on that day? Well, then you got to really, really look closely, not just at the mistakes that you made, but why you made them. And then your analysis or your practice, is going to be incorporating videos from Heads Up, Sit and Goes, posting questions on the forums, and really kind of working through whatever mistakes you're making, so that when you do show back up the next day, you are prepared to play better than the day before. So hopefully that helps.